Good morning. It's Dana. So I have been working in all of my spare time for the last 3 weeks on a talk. And if you read the newsletter, I told you that I had this big talk coming up and that I was working with Jessica Buchanan, the woman who was taken for 93 days by Somalia land pirates and rescued by SEAL Team 6 in the Obama administration. And working with Jessica has been pretty extraordinary. Um, I sort of had to sit down feeling overwhelmed by the size and scope of her public life because it's significant. She's a New York Times bestselling writer. She's spoken all over the place. She's been on Stephen Colbert's show, and she's a big deal. And what I am learning as I'm spending more time with Jessica is Jessica's just a person who had something extraordinary happen to her. And she opted to think about it in a different way, to use it not as an excuse for why she can't do something, but as an opportunity to help other people think about how they might be intentionally living their lives too. So it's amazing. She's amazing. And I have learned an incredible amount of stuff about myself and about my own journey and all kinds of things in the 3 sessions that we've had as we've been working together. This morning, I pretty much finished the talk that I'm giving next month. So I'm giving it in approximately 4 weeks. And it's been anxiety producing for me. And I'm not sleeping very well. And there's a lot of stress around it. And in part, it's because I'm going to speak for a major company. One of the top companies in the world. I'm going to speak to Microsoft. And while I'm not speaking to Microsoft as a global campus, I think they are opening it up. And so there may be people from multiple campuses tuning in above and beyond the Fargo campus. But that feels kind of awesome in the truest sense of the word. So that's stressful and it feels like an amazing opportunity, and I'm trying to be very present for it. But I realized something important in my work with Jessica this week, which was this is just the beginning of the next stage of my life. This is not a one and done opportunity. So the talk that I'm giving doesn't have to be the talk that I will give in 5 years. It needs to be the best talk that I can give on December 9th, 2021. And what I will get from that talk is feedback and my own opportunity to learn and reflect and adapt and change, and the experience of doing it virtually, because I'll be on campus, on the Microsoft campus, but it will be a virtual event. And the chance to reach a pretty significant audience, 300 or so people, which is a pretty good sized audience. But it is not like the rest of my career is not contingent upon that talk being perfect or being the one and done talk that I'll just give over and over and over and over again. And I was thinking about my friend Ellen, who I had lunch with this week, and I was telling her how anxious I was feeling about all this. And she was telling me about having seen Paul McCartney somewhat recently. And she had great seats because I think they were kind of corporate seats that she ended up getting. And he was about to play, I don't remember what, let's say Hey Jude, some famous Beatles song. And he made some reference to, I've probably played this song a million times. It's not new to me. It's not even maybe special to me anymore. But I've never played it for you. I've never been in space with you doing this song. So that makes it special, even if it's the song I've played a million other times. And that got me thinking about the fact that a lot of people have heard what I'm going to talk about on December 9th, the crux of the talk. A lot of people locally have heard that talk. because I've given it at Lady Boss, and I gave it at my MSUM commencement address, and I talked a little bit about it, I think, at Creative Mornings, and I spoke about it at Women Connect through the Chamber of Commerce. But most people have not heard it. And so what if they have? We often have to hear things over and over and over again before they resonate for us. And I'm not telling the exact same story that I've told before. I'm using that life's lesson and I'm applying it in a very different way. And as soon as Ellen reminded me that Paul McCartney doesn't have to rewrite Hey Jude every time he plays it, Paul McCartney needs to be present every time he plays Hey Jude, to not go on autopilot, and to recognize that there is value in the relationship piece that comes from the audience and their feedback with him. That freed up a lot of the stress and anxiety that I was feeling about this talk and thinking, oh, it's got to be all new. I can't go back to anything I've already talked about. So that made me feel a whole lot better. So I want to give you one tiny preview. I'm going to give you a tiny preview of this talk. And I want you to just use this as an opportunity to think about your own life. So the talk is centered around rocks, which I've only ever talked about one other time. I have blogged about it, and some of you have read pieces of it, and a lot of what you've read is gone from the talk. But here's the preview. Can you think about your life like a geode? And what do I mean by that? Let me just run and grab a geode, and I'll be right back because I forgot to get it before the talk. Hold on. Okay. So here's a geode. It's pretty ugly, actually. Just looks like your basic, dull, rough rock. Nothing about this to even really stop and admire. You might just push that out of the way if you saw it in your path because it's unremarkable. That might feel like your life. I spent a ton of my life thinking that I was the outside of the geode. Nothing to stop and pay attention to. Just a dull, tan, lifeless, insignificant object. But what happens when you cut in to a geode? When you do that, you see this. You see the sparkle, the magic, the beauty. You see this formation that is not evident on the outside. And it's only because the outside is stronger than the rock that's around it that as that rock weathers away, this rock remains intact and it protects this beautiful interior. This is actually who we are. This beautiful, magical, sparkly, glorious, crystallized interior. That's who we are, despite how we look on the outside. So how do you need to consider this and this as the same thing? This is your life, and this is your life. How do you reconcile that? How do you come to terms with the fact that it's the hard exterior, seemingly irrelevant, overlookable life that builds and allows and protects this beautiful interior? So that is one piece of this talk. And I hope that that gives you something to think about. I hope it resonates for you. And I hope you might want to figure out how you can hire me or connect me to someone who can hire me to give this talk. because I actually think this talk has merit and I'm proud of it. And I've worked really hard on it. And I believe that it is the kind of talk that people will leave thinking about long, long, long after I say thank you and step away from the lights and the camera and the microphone. So on this day, take some time and think about what part of you is the hard, dull, ignorable part, and what part of you is the beautiful, magical beauty that lives inside, that's only possible, that could only be formed because of this. Have an excellent day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.